What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Grind. Almost at the $2 Sports Show. I had to think about this. I am your temporary co-host, Rusty Buckets, checking in with my guy, Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck, it is sad that our collective IQ is barely registering this morning without Luke on the show, but we must progress nonetheless. How are you, sir?
Yeah, addition by subtraction is a real thing, but it is not applicable today.
No, sir. We're being brave, putting on our brave face, and doing this without Luke, who unfortunately was called into work this morning. So you're stuck with us two buffoons trying to muddle through this thing. So thank y'all. I guess Wayno, thanks for being in the comments already. If you're watching on Twitter, hop in YouTube. That's where the comments really take off, and you can engage and chat with us and other guys here in the chat in the comment section. And if you're watching this on tape delay, thank you for joining us after the fact. Please get up early, start your day with us, get your coffee, roll out of bed, much like my esteemed colleague here did this morning, and hop on the show with us.
Yeah, so listen, I'm not going to apologize. Not going to do it. So it's my day off too, people. Okay? And we have a sick kid who was up at different times through the night. And so, yes, I did sleep till 7:35, but I was also up for like 30 minutes at 4 o'clock. So it's basically like waking up at 7.
Basically, yes. Addition by subtraction, right? And so we're going to get sued with Uncle Buck's early morning jazz club vibe. So with that, the Grizzlies do have a game tonight. It is already going off in the comments that unfortunately, Wayno, it is not a joke. Ja is out tonight against the Pistons. Look, we all saw the play. He banged knees pretty hard, as I guess is already said here in the comments as well. They're calling it a knee contusion. I don't know that it's much more than that. I don't think that there's going to be any kind of lengthy time out. I think they're just being ultra conservative with their superstar who's coming back from a pretty serious hip injury. I don't see him out. He'll play Friday night against a team that he consistently has success against in the New Orleans Pelicans, Drew. I don't think he'll miss much time.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like it's just being safe a little bit. That's The game is at Detroit, right? Or is it at home?
It's at home.
It's at home. Okay. Listen, this is just them being big old babies. They're just trying not to. They're protecting their asset at all costs, even if the cost is a win.
Yeah.
If you finish the game, but no, you don't. But like, if you finish the game, then you should be able to play the next game. We've done this before. Like, we recorded our $2 Sports Show yesterday because of the holidays on Thursday and Friday, and I said on there, it's like I haven't looked forward to a game as much as I've looked forward to the Detroit game and the Pelicans game, because it's the first time you look forward and know that you've got your guys there. And then we sit Ja on a game after a day's rest in a game that he got hurt, finished the game, rested a day, and now he can't play. Like, I'm just like, come on, man.
I get it. Like, I think that the Grizzlies organization is loving torturing us poor tortured souls by keeping Ja Morant out. I think that they want us to be miserable. Kidding, of course. It's right.
I don't think you're kidding at all. I think there's a lot of validity to this.
Sometimes when you're joking, it's 50% true, right?
It's one of those things. It's like, no, they're not directly targeting us, but they also don't give a dang what we think about it.
Exactly. And so we're, misery loves company, so we can all commiserate here. I guess is right. If his knee is swollen in any way, then they're going to sit him. Again, this is a Detroit team that we should beat without Ja Morant. They're a very scrappy team. They're a tough team. So maybe that's kind of what Kleiman and the team is thinking, is this is going to be a very physical basketball game, and we need to save Ja Morant for a cup game Friday night, because apparently they just mean more to everybody but the Memphis Grizzlies.
So Detroit is 8-11. They are 23rd in points per game. Let's see, opponents points per game, they're 9th. So should be able to score a lot of points. They've got a lot of fun players. Cade Cunningham's doubtful, but Jay Nivey hit that game winner the other night. He's come on strong. Malik Beasley,
bit of a resurgence.
a ton. The Memphis kid, Jalen Duran, Isaiah Stewart, Tim Hardaway Jr.
They're a good team.
A
They're
lot of fun.
talented. They're
Also,
scrappy.
Thompson.
A lot of
Yeah.
young players. Tobias Harris's game time decision tonight. He's questionable whether or not he'll play. But a lot of young players who, and on a team with nothing to lose, can be a dangerous team for the Memphis Grizzlies. And so I still look for us to handle our business. It's home. We've won 4 in a row now at home. I don't think we're gonna mess that up tonight against Detroit. But Drew, what do you want to see out of the Grizzlies? We know we're not gonna have Ja. So what are you hoping to see? Like what guard combination do you think Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to get the start? Do you think it's going to be Marcus? What do you think it's going to look like?
No, I think Scottie Pippen Jr. gets the start. You revert back to 2 games ago. The only thing you've added at that point is Marcus Smart. You're going to go back to your Scottie Pippen Jr. offense, and you're going to have a lot of success if you hit threes. I mean, this is not very difficult. We can make this about what it is or what it's not, but what it is if you hit threes, you're going to win. If you don't, you're going to lose. And so we have hit threes in our last 4 home games, and we've won them. So Detroit is not the greatest defensively, and even against the teams that are good defensively, this offense results in open threes at all times. So just make them, and you're going to win. And I'd love to see Jaren take over. I want this to be the game where Jaren just kind of goes for a 40 burger. Like I'd love to see that. We haven't had a player. I know Desmond, I think, got 38 in one game. But I want to see Jaren just go for like 40 and dominate.
Yeah, it kind of harkens back to the conversation that we had yesterday on the 2 Buck Sports Show. Y'all check that out. Drops Friday at 3 p.m. where we talk about who is the better player for the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja or Jaren. I think Jaren needs to flex. He needs to flex tonight. The offense needs to flow through 13. If he doesn't touch it on every possession, he better touch it every other possession because he's going to be the difference maker in this game for us. Detroit is a minus 1.6 on point differential, so like they're a good defensive team, but they don't score a ton. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to really flex once again, handle our business on a bad team. Because don't look now, I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies are currently in 4th place in the Western Conference. We have been slowly creeping our way up the standings. We are a game and a half behind Houston and only 2.5 games out of first, sitting in 4th place. And so we're getting hot at the right time. We just have to get healthy. Again, I don't think this is going to be a long-term issue. We've all played sports or been playing with our kids, nephews, grandkids, whatever, and banged knees or elbows. You know how bad it hurts. It hurts for a little bit, but it doesn't last very long. I just think they're being overly cautious with their superstar on a midweek game that we don't necessarily need him to win. And I think we'll see Ja back on Friday. And I look for us to start getting some better updates on Zach Edey this week. Hopefully Taylor Jenkins will have something in his pregame interview tonight for us. If not, for sure by Friday, I think we'll start knowing a little bit more about where Edey's ankle is.
I just hate that he was put as out instead of doubtful or questionable. Like that, that scares me. And so knowing our medical staff and how they want to slow play everything, I don't think it's a given that he's going to be back on Friday.
I don't know. I just got a feeling. I think he will.
I'm not going to assume he's going to be back. I'm going to assume that he's not, and then you can surprise me.
No, I get it. I understand. Given how Grizz PR plays with our feelings and the Grizzlies play with our feelings, I would have loved to have seen a doubtful as well. But we got what we got. So we got to handle business tonight before we take on New Orleans on Friday. But in between those games, Drew, we also don't just have NBA basketball this week. It's one of the best weeks of the year. You get family together, you get food together, you get to eat all those fun foods. We were talking yesterday in the clinic about things that what are your favorite Thanksgiving foods, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But a lot of it is because some of these foods you only eat once or twice a year. Well, with that tradition of the same foods only once or twice a year, we get a special holiday football edition. The NFL has 3 games set up for tomorrow. The slate is kind of questionable. Luke kind of put yay or nay here. I'm not sure that it's the best games, but we'll kind of go through those. We'll break those 3 games down. You've got football that will entertain you starting at 11:30 tomorrow morning, Central Time Zone, God's time zone, where the Chicago Bears take on the Detroit Lions in a divisional battle. The Lions have been consistently the best team in football. They're sitting at 10-1. They play great football both sides of the ball. They're getting career years out of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, and that defense has never missed a beat, even with Aiden Hutchinson going down. But Caleb Williams has looked better in his last couple of starts. Do you think there's any hope for the Bears to get an upset on Thanksgiving?
No. Detroit's the best team in football.
Agreed.
It's just plain and simple. They playing at home. They play every Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving in football is great. It's one of the reasons why it's my favorite holiday. It's because you start your day with a parade, you continue your day with football at lunch, and then you just continue all the way until bedtime with football and leftovers. And so I'm all in on NFL football, and it always kind of stunk. The Cowboys and the Lions, they play every year. And so you always were like, okay, well, I watch the Cowboys game because the Lions game's going to suck.
Yeah.
Flip-flop, baby, because I'm not missing the Lions game. They are the most fun team in football. They're beating the snot out of everybody, and I'm all in. I mean,
we're what, like
Super Bowl.
Like 3 weeks ago, they put up 52 on Jacksonville or something ridiculous. Like, was that last week? 52-7 they won. Like, they're absolutely – there's 2 weeks ago. They won 52-6 2 weeks ago, 24-6 last week over the Colts. Like, they're just beating the crap out of professional football teams. And Jared Goff always seems to feast on Thanksgiving. He gets his eating starting early. He always plays well on Thanksgiving. It's at home. That crowd is going to be raucous. I look for the Lions are a 10-point favorite, and I'm going to put some money on them to cover that pretty easily.
Yeah.
In the second game at 3:30, you already mentioned the Cowboys play every Thanksgiving. The three teams you always get are Detroit, Dallas, and Green Bay. And the middle game is Dallas playing the hapless Giants, who had one of the weirdest weeks last week. They demoted Daniel Jones from their starting quarterback to a scout team free safety, only to then turn around and cut him or release him, I guess, the next day. And then for him to appear in Cowboy rumors that he might get picked up by the Cowboys. Now, that hasn't happened yet, but the Cowboys and the Giants play at 3:30 on Fox tomorrow. And you talk about a pillow fight. Like, these two teams, neither of these teams are playing very well. Dallas got lucky and got saved by an abysmal shank on a extra point by the Commanders last week, or they'd be sitting at 3-8. And the Giants are 2-9, not getting any better with Tommy DeVito as their quarterback. I mean, are you going to watch this game? Or to me, this is when my Thanksgiving Day nap will kick in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this has got the same feel to it as like Sunday afternoon golf. Like, yes, I'm going to watch it. But, yeah, that'd be perfect nap time. Yeah. Listen, nothing screams ratings like Tommy DeVito versus whatever that quarterback. Cooper Rush. And honestly, I couldn't love it more for Dallas. Go Giants. I just love seeing Dallas just live in squalor. Mm-hmm. It's Same. Like the rich person with the massive house, but he's just dead inside. Mm-hmm. That's what Cowboys fans are. And I'm just going to relish in it a little more. And Daniel Jones, they forced him. They did not want him in that locker room anymore. Why in the world would you put your millions and millions of dollars quarterback on scout team defense if you're not just trying to make him quit?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And, the NFL typically scores points. Like, there's the score, it's typically 24-20 or 31-27. Like, you typically get high-scoring games. The over-under on this game is 37.5, and I would probably hammer the under because it's going to be ugly, ugly football.
37-20. I mean, 27-10.
10, yeah. I don't know that either of these teams is going to score 20 points. I'd bet the farm just about on that. And then lastly, the game that I'm most looking forward to Thursdays at 7:20 Thursday night. It's on NBC/Peacock/Universal, one of those streaming services. But the Miami Dolphins, who have had a resurgence, I saw a funny tweet the other day. It was showing some of Tua's highlights and his stats since he came back from his concussion. And somebody said, I think this concussion reset him to Tuscaloosa Tua because he's been on a tear. All he's done is thrown for 1,100 yards. Like, I think it was like 10 touchdowns, 1 pick.
11-1.
11-1. He's played really well against a good Green Bay Packers team. Jordan Love has him playing really well. Josh Jacobs has a bit of a career resurgence for them as well. I think this has got potential to be a good game. Green Bay is a 3.5-point favorite. It's at home, which is typical. Green Bay typically plays at home. I think this is going to be a good litmus test for both of these teams. Is the Miami comeback real? Is Jordan Love posing them for a playoff run? I look for this to be the game of the day and one that I will not be napping through.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt this is the game of the day, and there's really not any competition when it comes to just how good the matchup is.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just forgive me for looking away from the screen for a minute. Tomorrow's weather in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And keep this in mind because they're playing a team from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
High of 32, low of 20, 4% chance of humidity. So just cold. 13 mile an hour west northwest wind. Yeah, it's just going to be cold.
At kickoff's gonna be 27 degrees, and I don't know if those South Florida boys are ready for that. It feels like one of those typical Lambeau Field days where you're just gonna get that bitter cold. I'm gonna be grateful to be watching it under a blanket on my couch and not in the stands there.
I mean, really though, who wouldn't like if you're going to go play at Lambeau, get the Lambeau experience. Like I want it to be cold. Give me the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. You know,
That's it.
I get to go play at Lambeau on Thanksgiving. So yeah, it's definitely the best game. Miami's a fun story, although Tua getting concussed kind of buried me in fantasy early and without much of a chance to get out now that he's back.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's very interesting and that they kind of sputtered out the gate a little bit, and then Tua gets hurt, and then as soon as he comes back, I think they're 4-0, and he's playing incredibly, and Devon Achane's incredible, and Jalen Waddle had his first decent game of the season last week.
Shout out, helping me win my work fantasy league.
Yeah, and Tyreek Hill he's fine. He's not Tyreek Hill levels yet, but you've got a lot of confidence that he will be. And so it's interesting. I'm curious to see what it looks like on the frozen tundra. But yeah, I think Green Bay wins this game. It's got all the atmosphere around it that they're used to. You know.
Yeah, Tyreek's questionable. Jalen Ramsey's questionable. That team's got some injuries. I think Jalen Waddle's benefiting. I've got him again in my work fantasy league. Devon Achane's been incredible for my family league last couple of weeks. I just think the weather's going to be a little too much for the Dolphins to overcome with that high-flying offense, and Josh Jacobs can kind of get it going on the ground for the Packers. So with that, we talked sports. We talked Grizzlies. We talked NFL Thanksgiving Day games. Stick around. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we have a draft day, not the movie, that you don't want to miss for fans of the Thanksgiving holiday.
I think Zach Edey played well. He got his fouls in. He got him in for sure. But we saw some flashes of really what he can do. Whether that's setting screens or just whether blocking shots or just making guys change their mind about shots or just affecting the quality of shots that guys were getting in the game. We saw that a lot. They gotta use him though, man. They gotta be able to find him a little bit.
I was about to say they especially the whole first quarter. It was like because I think that lob that y'all had him, that was his first points of the game. So it was like the whole first quarter, I did peep that. It was like, I see everybody else attempting 5+ shots.
Right.
Y'all got to find a way to give Zach Edey something like at some point. Everything was running well last night, right? The offense was flowing well. It's going to come a stretch of time where they're going to be stagnant. And at that time, that's when I expect them, okay, hey, let's run a post play to Zach Edey.
Tune in to The Anthony Sane Show, Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
This is a question I don't know if you've ever been asked. Was there anyone you ever wanted to dunk on? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you haven't getting a big kick out of that one. I think you've been waiting all day for that. Waiting all day to get that little jokey joke in. Oh, you got a joke. But yeah, I always wanted to dunk in the game. That's what I wanted to do. And it didn't have to be on anybody. I wanted it to be off of a missed shot, like on an offensive rebound, so that everyone's around or in the vicinity when it happened.
Did you ever dunk in practice and get overly excited?
Yes. and everybody be like, well, are you going to do it in a game? And I'm like, no.
Tune in to the Night Court Podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Daily Grind. Once again, bluffcitymedia.co is where you can find all those great shows. You can find them here on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Podbean, wherever you listen to us. Thank you for being here and joining with us this morning. As Uncle Buck's still trying to wake up over there. Thank you for joining us and bearing with us. Two buffoons filling in for Luke. He will be back on Friday. No worries to those fans that only tune in for Luke, which neither of us actually blame me for that. But on Wednesdays, we have a tradition where it's draft day, not the movie, draft day, not the movie, where we talk about things that we like. We draft movies, we draft topics, we draft pop culture, whatever is on our minds or the forefront. And this week, it is nothing but Thanksgiving. We've got Thanksgiving right around the corner, aka tomorrow. It is time to feast and enjoy family. So I hope all of you have great plans for that. Uncle Buck and I both do with our families. But before we get to that, we're going to draft our favorite Thanksgiving foods. We're going to draft 5. We're going to ping pong back and forth. Uncle Buck, close your eyes. I'm going to hold up a number of fingers. You tell me if it's even or odd without peeking. So eyes closed for me, sir. This is probably the easiest way we can do it. Tell me even or odd.
Even.
It's 4. So you get to go first, Uncle Buck.
That was a pretty bold choice for me because there's more odd numbers on your hands than even.
I'm impressed. Well done, sir.
And if I'm being honest, I almost went 4. So I always go with 4. That's my number. Yadier Molina, what up?
Yeah, something like that. So hit me with your first overall pick, Thanksgiving foods.
Yeah, so I mean, first overall pick, you just got to go with a staple. A dressing. Dressing done well is amazing. I have had it many different ways. But I tell you which way that I will not have it. Stuffed inside a turkey, because that's communist.
Agreed. You can keep, and it's not stuffing. You want dressing. My grandmother makes cornbread dressing with sage that would rival any of your grandmothers. I would put it up against all of them. Mimi's is the goat.
I would take your Mimi's dressing and spike it onto the ground.
I'm sure you would, and Mimi would spike you on the ground. And y'all about the same height. So you went a different direction than I thought you were going to go. For me, a staple of Thanksgiving, and it's a favorite year round, but it just hits different on Thanksgiving. That's mac and cheese, man. Just like, because you can church it up, you can put different things, some breadcrumbs, you can put different cheeses. Maggie and I are doing the Thanksgiving, just the two of us tonight, and we picked out about 3 or 4 fancy cheeses from Trader Joe's, and it's going to be awesome. So mac and cheese is
so pretentious. Ooh, I love this, the Gruyere.
Yeah. The Havarti.
What do you think about this stinky green cheese? Ooh, I love stinky green cheese. Right.
We're fancy. Step your game up, man. Come join the fancy side of life.
No.
She has fancied me up because you know me, man. I'm
Your
getting stuff
first
at the
pick
Dollar
was
General.
mac and cheese. You are who you are.
That's it, man. I eat a sandwich from Benjamin's grocery in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Forget. Yeah. I would take that some more. I would never pick out cheeses. Okay. Never.
All right. What's your second pick, man? You got dressing. What's next?
Yeah. So give me pecan pie. A warm pecan pie cannot be beaten by anything. It is perfect if you're feeling crazy, which most people are. First off, pro tip: do not wear like any sort of denim or khaki or slacks to Thanksgiving. Just go ahead on the front end. Know what you're about to do. You're about to blow it. Okay. Put on your stretchy pants and go get your slice of pecan pie. Throw a scoop of ice cream on top and enjoy it. It's perfect.
Finish it off. Put yourself in a coma. It is what it is. Just enjoy it. All right. So for me, I'm going to stay in the savory. I'm more of a savory, salty kind of guy. I'm going to stay there. I also love carbs and starches. So mashed potatoes and gravy, you can't beat it, man. Whatever gravy your family does, white gravy, brown gravy, if you have a special one, put it in the comments. We'd love to know. But give me mashed taters and gravy. I love me a tater.
Yeah, taters are good. Taters are very good. It was on my list. I am going to take, because I'm very proud of myself, honestly. I want to take a smoked turkey.
I almost went smoked turkey there.
I put 2 turkey breasts on the green egg yesterday during the recording of the $2 Sports Show. So during commercial, I was running out and checking the green egg, and let me tell you, I'm not an expert at a lot of things, but I'm an expert at smoking a turkey. I nail a turkey. Okay, it's just I killed it.
I am planning to be at the Gann household on Sunday. I will let our dear listeners and fans of this show know if it's good. If there's any left, I'm going to sample some, and we'll find out if Uncle Buck is truly a turkey master.
We came home with anything, but I tell you what, you bring a turkey.
Well, that's not part of the deal. No, you gotta prove with your turkey. Well, if you took smoked turkey, I'm going to take the traditional fried turkey, and you can do it in grease. You can do it in an air convection fryer. I love it. Wow, how's that cheating? I like a good fried turkey, man.
I mean, the turkey was selected, but whatever.
It's a variation. You spoke smoked turkey.
Yeah, I'll take baked turkey next. Maybe I should have taken a baked, and then I'll have 2 turkeys, and you'll have 1.
Fried turkey. It's different. Yeah, fried turkey is good. It's a good second. Smoked is definitely the go, but a fried turkey is a good second choice.
Yeah,
gotta have a protein at my Thanksgiving. So, what's your next pick?
How many picks have I had? 3.
Got 2 left.
Okay. Hash brown casserole.
That's
I don't know if this is like a Thanksgiving food, but it is at my house, at my mom's house, and my mom makes an amazing hash brown casserole.
Yeah.
I mean, the cornflakes on top are just perfectly crispy. And I mean, it's perfect. Like, I could do a whole plate of just hash brown casserole.
I have to get real hungry because I haven't had breakfast yet.
I haven't either. I didn't even brush my teeth.
He literally, I had to call him and I heard, hello? And I was like, I know right where he's at. So I'm going to take my first dessert. This might be like a Witten family tradition, and that's fine. If you don't like it, that's weird. But like, our family has always been big on just a yellow cake with chocolate icing. There's just something about it, like a yellow butter cake in the cake mix from the store on the aisle. Mama will make chocolate icing from scratch, or my sister-in-law Andrea makes mean chocolate icing. And so it's just a plain yellow cake with chocolate icing. It's not fancy, it's not sexy, but it hits every single time. Yellow cake, chocolate icing.
Again, I would take your dressing, your grandmother's dressing, and a white cake with chocolate icing and straight to the ground.
Well, yeah, it ain't white. It's yellow. It's golden. It's different.
Whatever. Or your racist cake.
Oh, my God.
I got one more. And so I'm going to take the food that everybody loves, even though you don't want to admit it. And you're talking about churching up your mac and cheese. It's not necessary. You know, just the way it comes is the best. And I do not want your homemade cranberry sauce. I want the riches, baby. I want the cranberry sauce straight out the can, jiggling like a piece of Jello. Like, that stuff is where it's
essentially what it is.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think that's the point. Like, cranberry sauce. Like, I mean, there's no cranberries in it. So is it just like cranberry lemonade that we have semi-frozen in time and preserved using some sort of embalming fluid? Like, I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, and no telling what that is. But lastly, my last pick before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. Jess Benson is on Grind City Media right now. For me, my last pick is one thing I only eat at Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter. It's the only time we get it all throughout the year. I like a good green bean casserole. It's the only thing we eat. I knew you were going to say that. I know how you feel about those, but I'm taking green bean casserole. It's tradition. It's a staple. Love it at Thanksgiving. But that's our show for the day. Thank you for being here. Thanks for putting up with us without Luke. We will not have a show tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you all again Friday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy some family time. Have a great time with those that you love. And we'll see you back here on Friday.
Feel